Ukrainian cities, reportedly, despite US President Donald Trump's push for a ceasefire. On the same day that it struck Kyiv, the Kremlin said that it was still interested in peace talks, but that its strikes on Ukraine would continue. Listen to this.
Свои задачи выполняют и российские вооруженные силы. Они, как было заявлено, продолжают бить по объектам военной и околовоенной инфраструктуры. Удары успешные, цели уничтожаются, специальная военная операция продолжается. Одновременно с этим Россия сохраняет свою заинтересованность в продолжении переговорного процесса с тем, чтобы именно политико-дипломатическими средствами достигнуть тех целей, которые перед нами стоят.
The EU summoned Russia's ambassador after the overnight barrage damaged its delegation offices in Kyiv. EU officials posted photos of blown-out windows and the office ceiling partially collapsed.
It shows that the Kremlin will stop at nothing to terrorize Ukraine, blindly killing civilians, men, women and children, and even targeting the European Union. This is why we are keeping maximum pressure on Russia. That means tightening our sanctions regime.
The UK Foreign Secretary also summoned the Russian ambassador to the UK Foreign Office. The British Council's premises in Kyiv severely damaged and would be closed until further notice. The British Prime Minister, meanwhile, accused the Russian president of sabotaging hopes of peace with the latest strikes. French President Emmanuel Macron condemning what he called Russian terror and barbarism, quote-unquote. The overnight attack on Kyiv also comes following a summit between Putin and Trump, remember, in Alaska. The Kremlin has rebuffed initiatives for a swift end to the fighting, including pressure for a Zelensky-Putin meeting. Moscow is demanding Kyiv cede more territory and renounce Western military support and ask conditions for any peace deal. But these demands from Moscow have been ruled out by Kyiv. In fact, Ukraine has demanded security guarantees from its Western allies and has long cast Russia as only paying lip service to the idea of stopping the war.
A ruthless energy blitz left over 100,000 Ukrainian homes in total darkness. Moscow is pushing deeper into the critical Dnipropetrovsk region, giving Kyiv a severe strategic blow. Russia is warning Europe hard against sending troops to Ukraine, raising stakes in this brutal war.
Ukraine plunges into darkness. Over 100,000 homes across Poltava, Sumy and Chernihiv are without power after a relentless wave of Russian drone attacks targeted vital electricity and gas infrastructure. The hit on gas pipelines and power stations sends shockwaves through energy supplies, forcing hospitals and essential services into crisis management as Kyiv scrambles to restore light. Kyiv has also stepped up its attacks on Russian energy infrastructure in recent weeks. Gas stations have run dry in some regions of Russia after Ukrainian drones struck Russian refineries and other oil infrastructure. Ukraine says it is using its homegrown new long-range missile known as Flamingo. On the battlefield, Russia claims new ground in the Dnipropetrovsk region, a crucial front line that Kyiv quietly confirms has seen incursions. This marks a significant setback for the Ukrainian military, threatening to shift the balance in one of the war's fiercest theaters. Russia issues a stark warning to Europe No foreign boots on Ukrainian soil. Moscow flatly rejects any European troops' deployments, branding them as dangerous provocations that threaten to escalate the conflict further. Kremlin officials dismiss prospects of a meeting with Zelensky anytime soon. On the ground, the front lines are shifting Russia, which now occupies around 1/5 of Ukraine. It has advanced in recent months in a grinding campaign against Kyiv's smaller, outgunned army. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. A deadly strike has rocked the Ukrainian capital. 18 lives have been lost in Kyiv. Russian missiles, drones and even hypersonic weapons slammed into the city in one of the fiercest assaults that has been witnessed this year. And with an EU mission also hit, the war has now entered into a whole new dangerous phase. Now, the White House has said that the rapid Russian strikes have threatened the peace efforts that had been pursued by Donald Trump. Take a look at this report.
The night sky turned to fire. Streets lit up in a split second as missiles streaked over Kyiv, leaving trails of smoke and fear. Drones buzzed below, their engines echoing like swarms of steel hornets. Then explosions, buildings shaking. Windows shattering, alarms wailing across the capital. Residents rushed to the streets, smoke billowing from shattered windows. In Kyiv, shocked people narrate the horror of the attack.
At 4 o'clock in the morning, the rockets began to whistle above us. That's when you understand that you need to go to a shelter. At the moment we left the house, the siren was screaming above my head. At this point, you feel horrific, primal fear that pierces your body with needles. You just don't know what to do.
The missile hit, and people were simply thrown by the impact. They were lying there. There was a woman, a wife, and their child. The woman was under a cement block. Her head was cut. It was split open. It was cut. She was under this block. We were not able to lift it. It was only lifted when the emergency services came. They used a lift, but she was not saved.
Rescue workers pulled bodies from the rubble. Blood-stained concrete, twisted metal, where homes once stood. The worst attack since recent diplomatic efforts began. Hypersonic weapons traveling faster than sound itself gave no warning, no time to run, no chance to hide.
At the time of the rocket attack, I was in the parking lot. Well, you could hear it very clearly in the parking lot too. Whistling, screeching noise. And well, I don't even know how to describe the feeling. And then, well, an explosion, probably right away. 1 and 3 minutes later, another rocket hit.
Buildings belonging to the European Union and the British Council were damaged in the strikes, both the EU and the UK to summon the top Russian diplomats in their capitals.
It shows that the Kremlin will stop at nothing to terrorize Ukraine, blindly killing civilians, men, women and children, and even targeting the European Union. This is why we are keeping maximum pressure on Russia. That means tightening our sanctions regime.
This powerful strike did not happen in a vacuum. It follows a series of audacious Ukrainian drone attacks over the past week. which successfully targeted and ignited major oil refineries deep within Russian territory. The war has shifted again, no longer confined to trenches and front lines, but reaching deep into cities, infrastructure and symbols of power. The echoes of the terrifying attacks in Kyiv hangs heavy in the air. Bureau Report, WION World is One.